What's going on, y'all? This is Peter. Welcome back to another book review. And today we're reviewing What Winners Won't Tell You by Malcolm Jenkins, former NFL pro, former All-Pro, also former Philadelphia Eagle. Let's get it. One of the things that I always find interesting about these black authors is we all got a similar story. We all been through kind of a lot of the things that we as black men can relate to. And one of the things he talked about in this book is his childhood, how they used to always play football, and how he actually ran from a fight one time and his grandma made him stand up for himself, and it taught him a lot of things that he used in the future. And that's one thing that I can see I can relate to as well in this book, is because I ran from a fight. My brother got jumped one time. We was outside playing football at Girls High, and I didn't help him, but I ran to get help, but they didn't say it that way. They just jumped my mom, tore me up because of that. But you know, it was all good. It's one of the things that we can relate to in this book, and I really enjoyed it. So right now, a price for a hard copy of the book is $24.99. If you wanted to get Audible, it is $15.99, and if you wanted to do Kindle, it's $14.99. If that's how you consume your books, whatever your pleasure. Also, the length of the book is 303 pages, so it's a pretty decent book. It's pretty good. So that's the price, and that's how long it is. All right, just a brief synopsis that's on the website. Over the course of his 13-year career, NFL retired defensive back triumphs extends beyond the football field. As a successful entrepreneur, he's seen a blossom of his business ventures with a company named Malcolm's Inc. and a media conglomerate named Listen Up Media. As a philanthropist, he strives to make a difference in the lives of young people in underserved communities through the Malcolm Jenkins Foundation. As a father of two daughters, he understands the challenges of loving his child and preparing them for the often unkind and hostile world. But every triumph, there's a tragedy, and every loss, there's a lesson. And What Winners Won't Tell You, Jenkins shares readers the insight that he gained from winning and losing alike. One of the moments, Jenkins is riding high from being one of the only few NFL players to have victories against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and then navigating that harrowing low of a divorce from the mother of his children. In another moment, he's advocating for the advice for black young men in America. So that's basically a brief synopsis of the book. You feel me? All right, so we're gonna go over some of the key points for the book. And one of the key points that I really found interesting was the investment part of it. And hearing athletes speak on investment is so interesting because it adds a different thought process than the average person. And understanding that no matter how much money you make, you still got to be proactive with the money and let it develop into it so it can work for you, which is, you know, the truest form of freedom. So that's definitely interesting. Another thing that was interesting to me about this book was justice reform. You know, within this book, this was a wild part of the book. It definitely gave me a different perspective, and how he talked about Kaepernick and other teammates, even a little insight on different owners. Is very interesting because it gives you a perspective that you really didn't know and really didn't think about, especially about the Kaepernick situation. But it just, you know, it's very interesting. So definitely check it out. Another key point was the life lessons. In this book, there's so many life lessons, that it was so many ways that he learned on the journey to become the man he is today, and how he witnessed hardships and failures. And without all of these risks, none of his intelligence or wisdom would be accessible at this point for this man right now. So it's definitely dope. The highs and the lows of this book. One of the highlights of this book for me was hearing, like I said, all of the inside information about justice reform and his thought process. Also, him playing for the Eagles. That's my chef's kiss, a blessing, because I love to hear that. And the low is honestly, and I mean, I love how honest and vulnerable he was. And I love that he used his voice for the book, because sometimes I listen, sometimes I read it. But when I listen, I love to hear the actual person talking. It gives a little bit more closeness to it. Only low light I had about this book, only thing I didn't like, I just wish he spent more time talking about his time with the Eagles. Other than that, all right, so these are my final thoughts on the book. I absolutely love this book. From the up downs in life, from him taking a stand for justice reform. At the time, it was just so much emotional dysfunction and so much going on. And you really don't hear about the wins so much in life. So he also goes into how much money and exposure the NFL has brought to social justice reform. Even the difference between him and other mainstream players, that was like really interesting. I love how the 30 for 30 really gave him a different perspective on financial literacy and how he needed to do a better job understanding how he was handling his money and where the future was going for the money, with his money. And another thing that I loved about this book is how he went into how him and a coach, like certain coaches, they be having a difference of opinion and how they really be looking at things differently and may not agree with a philosophy, but he learned how to still play his game within these other coaches, philosophies and way they went about it. So it really, really, really gave me a different perspective. There's certain things that be happening behind closed doors, but they always say the politically correct thing and try to make it, as easy as possible so it don't draw too much attention to the team. But overall, man, I love this book. I really, really thought it was dope. It really was interesting from start to finish. If you guys like it, I hope you check it out. It's Pito. I'm out. Let's get it.